SolidWorks has many ways to work with legacy files, especially 2D files. Here I'll show you opening 2D files, and you can see from this window here I have a lot of different file types that we can open from, especially DXF and DWG. So I'm going to open a DWG and show you the process of using some of the 2D to 3D tools that SolidWorks has to offer. Here you can see we can import the 2D file into a drawing, either converting it to SolidWorks entities or keeping it in its native format. Here I want to actually create a 3D model, so I'm going to import it into a part. And when I hit next, you'll see that SolidWorks has the ability to work with all of the layers that AutoCAD has in its in the file. And I'm going to turn off the layers that I'm not concerned with here. I don't need the title block or notes. I'm concerned only with the object line, so I can use that information to help me build a 3D model. On this screen you can see that I can add constraints, so perpendicular, parallel, equal, horizontal, vertical, constraints like that in SolidWorks sketches can be added automatically. I can also import the dimensions directly from the 2D file if I want to. And we can also let SolidWorks clean up the sketch a little bit here by setting a distance that it's going to search around points, and if there are lines with endpoints close together, it will actually pull those together to create close contours. We can import the 3D model. If the AutoCAD file has 3D information in it, we can bring that in. In this case, I'm going to import just the 2D sketch and show you some of the tools that we can use to help generate a 3D model. This screen is asking me if it wants to import as a block or if I want to explode it, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes to explode it. And so I have the 2D file in my sketch. And the 2D to 3D toolbar turns on automatically when I import a 2D file. You can turn that on at any time, but it turns on automatically when you bring in a 2D file. So the first thing I'm going to do is close the sketch and align a certain point on this sketch to the origin. So you can do that by picking the point and picking the Align tool. It automatically places that on the origin. Then I'll edit this sketch again and select which parts of this sketch are the top, front, and right view. You can see I have a top, front, and right view here. I'm going to select the front view and pick from the front view on the 2D to 3D toolbar. You notice all the other toolbars are grayed out because you do need to start with the front view. But then we'll move on, go to the top view, and we'll select the top view. And what SolidWorks does is folds that around what's like a glass box. And then I'll pick the last view, and again it will fold it around that glass box. And then we can align the views together using the Align Sketch tool. So I'm just going to pick what I want to move and then what I want to move it to, and I pick Align, and it aligns those two edges or lines or vertices together. So we'll pick those two on this view and align those. That way I can use those views to extrude up to and use the different sketches to cut with. And so let's go ahead and start by picking this sketch and extrude it. Now this actually in an AutoCAD file there's usually a lot of different pieces of the 2D file that might make up the front view. I can pick from any of these different regions. You can see I can pick a contour or a region, which is basically expanding out from my cursor location and trying to find a closed boundary. So I'm going to pick a couple of different regions in this sketch to extrude. So I'll pick these three regions here, and then I'm going to change the end condition to up to vertex, and that allows me to use the point in the top sketch to be my extrude depth. Okay, now I'll go ahead and use the top sketch as a sketch to cut with. So I'm going to cut it through the entire model, and I'll flip the side to cut so it cuts the outside away, leaving these little troughs in the 3D model. And last I want to go to the right view, and I want to cut out these slot shapes in here. So what I'm going to do is select that sketch and use it for a cut extrude. I'm using the shortcut toolbar here, which pops up when you hit the S key. S is in Sam. So I'll pick the different regions that I want to extrude, and you can see it's adding it to the contour selection box. So I'll pick these different slot regions, and I'll tell it to extrude a cut through the first layer. So I'll use the up to next end condition, and that cuts through the first layer of solid. And at this point you can see why I wanted to align the sketch centered on this hole here. Now I have the right plane that goes right through the center of my part, so I can use that as a mirror plane. So I'm going to go to the mirror command. I'm going to select the feature. You can do that either by picking in the graphics area or by picking in the feature manager design tree here. And you can see the preview. And there we have our finished model. So as you can see, SolidWorks has some nice tools to help you reuse your 2D information without having to start over in SolidWorks to create 3D models.